Alright, so you want to take the bolts out of here, take your clamping ring down. We don't need this anymore. This is going to go. Punched out my holes here. It's actually going to use these. When I did that one by mistake, but no problem. Fill it with Curdy Fix. So those right there. Let's go down. We're good to go, just like that. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Donnie D back at you for another video here. So today I'm going to show you how I use this Schluter FHA adapter. Really good product to have, because anytime you have to redo a shower like I have here and it's on a concrete slab, I mean, what client wants you sitting there jackhammering up the slab and making dust everywhere to change out a drain when you could just use a FHA adapter like this and tie the the new drain right into it? I mean, it makes everyone's life a lot easier, I would say. Am I right? So I'm going to show you step by step here how I install this Schluter FHA adapter. I'm going to show you how I'm doing the mud work on this shower base. Many terms people use: deck mud, floating, whatever. I just call it, it's a mortar bed. So I'm going to show you how I do this mortar bed for this shower floor and how it's sloped to the drain. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay guys, now that you got all your bolts hand tight, you want to come around with it. I have a wrench here, but work even better is like a socket or the exact size box wrench, or will work great the exact size box wrench. I'm using adjustable because that's what I had with me on site at the time. But with these bolts, you just want to kind of snug them up. You don't want to crank them to all hell because you actually crush down that rubber gasket. So you just want to get them tight as you can by hand. Then you just want to snug them up. Make sure that you don't want them, you don't want them loose in there. But you definitely want them snug. Okay. So that's why I have the Curdy Fix on there. That makes up for any voids here and there. It makes it basically holds it together real well. So you don't want to over tighten it and crush the gasket. You just want it snug so nothing moves around, and you still got that white watertight seal. And then again, you got the Curdy Fix on top of it, so this is definitely not going anywhere. That's good. We're good. We're nice and snug there. You can see I got Curdy Fix oozing out around the edges here. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take some Curdy Fix and go around the bottom to make her 100%. But when you have it oozing out the screws here, we're definitely good. So I snugged it down. I didn't go crazy tight, just enough, and we should be fine. Okay guys, now what I'm doing, I'm putting down an uncoupling membrane over this concrete slab. Now if this slab had no cracks in it, if there wasn't a cold joint from when they cut it out originally on this first remodel for the drain, I wouldn't need to put this membrane down. But now that we have cold joints there and cracks, definitely doesn't hurt to put down a uncoupling membrane, and then I'll bond my mortar bed to that. That way we allow for some movement, and that will not, any of those cracks or anything like that won't ever transfer to the mortar bed, because in a shower that is really the last thing you want to have happen, because then we got bigger problems. So I'm just thin setting it down right now. As always, flat sided trowel, key it in, and then notch it out, and we'll go from there. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna test fit this drain. I'm just gonna push it down in place and kind of see where I am as far as level goes, and get a rough idea of how much mortar I have to put under it. That way when I push it down, everything is nice and supported. Okay, now I'm going to take my perfectly straight ripped down pieces of Hydraband board to use as my, basically it's going to be my screeds to the exact height that I need them. That way I get a proper pitch to drain. I do have a video on how I do it, but to keep it pretty short for this one, to give you an idea, you know, I find my high spot in the floor. I start from there and make sure obviously my drain is level, because if that's off, the pitch is going to be different. If it is off a little bit, you can just start from that part of the drain to the high part of the floor and then work around. The more level you have that drain, the better it's just going to be. So I'm starting that corner by the curb. I'm going to screw in that corner, and then what I do is, once I have that first part actually fastened in, I'll take just a scrap piece of foam that's good on both sides, and what I'll do is I'll put that down to the piece, mark a line with my pencil marker, and that will hit my laser level that's green there, if you can see it going on and off around the shower. And I'll just basically put these pieces on, fasten them when I have it level to my story pole for the laser level, to make sure it's level. Fastening going around, and what I'll also do lately is actually take a little bit of thin set and put on the back of these ledgers too, using like a 3/16 trowel, to make sure it's not only fastened to the wall, but it's bonded to it, really hold it rock solid. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just checking my pitch to my drain before I fasten everything in, and just getting a rough idea how everything's going to look before I start getting mortar in there and things like that. Okay, now what I'm doing is I have the same mortar that I'm going to use in the whole shower, but this is mixed up just a little bit more water. That way it'll actually get under the drain better and kind of bond to the flange. One little thing I like to do with these drains is take a little bit of sandpaper to the back of them. And if you have time, I'll paint it with a coat of Hydroban liquid membrane. That way it's, when I go to put this in, I'll actually put a thin set on the back of the flange here. This one I didn't put Hydroban on it, but it was sanded down. I thin set it, but if you have time, one coat of Hydroban, bond it to the flange, let it dry a few hours, and then put thin set on the back of the flange. That way when you set this drain in, everything is bonded, because you know, the company who makes the drain, they say it's fine without doing anything to the back of it and just putting wet mortar on there, which is fine. But I like to take a little bit of a step further by trying to bond it as best as possible with priming the back of the flange, sanding it, and you know, thin setting it down to the mortar bed here so everything is one piece, rock solid. Okay guys, just a quick tip here, which is pretty obvious, but maybe it's not, is that you want to get your thin set covered as quick as possible with the mortar, the deck mud here, as fast as possible, because you know, once you spread it, you only have anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes to cover it. So what I like to do is have about 2 buckets of mortar already mixed. That way I have enough to dump in here and cover it in time. You know, any size shower, I have 2 at least ready to go. Then I'll mix as I go, just so we're not having to waste too much material. So get it all in there, cover the thin set, move it around, and then we can start screeding this thing out and make ourselves a nice sloped shower base. Okay, so this is what the shower looked like the next day after screeding out, floating out, whatever you want to call it. Shower base mortar bed here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're not, please subscribe, hit that like button, and also please hit that bell button for future notifications of videos. I upload anywhere from 1 to 2 times a week. I'd love for you to tune in and see how I can help you with your project.